Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh, sorry. Excuse me, guys. This is a full moon broadcast, so be ready. What's up, everybody? My name is D, and together we are Guiding D-Light. Hope you guys are all doing well and magnificent on this beautiful evening. Of course, you're watching it in future time, but we're going to look at the weekly card reading here. Things have been interesting, to say the least. It's always interesting as the light goes shorter, the darkness comes greater, how some of them dark aspects will creep up. And as you're finding yourself and you're seeking, you don't understand the pull that has until you pull out of it, right? There's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of deceit, there's a lot of chaos. And I here stand on the other side saying, brothers and sisters, you got this. All right, we're going to do it this time. No more getting distracted. So, we're going to do the weekly card pull here. And as always, I'm sure there's going to be a great message behind it. I've been feeling pretty humbled myself. Soccer's winding down, and it's just been beautiful here in Ohio the last couple of months. We still haven't had our first frost, still getting some tomatoes out of the garden. All kinds of goodies and good things happening. So it's definitely been a blessing. We've enjoyed the last couple months. There we go. Ooh, that's always a fun one. So we get these cards out here. Hope you guys are all doing well. Like I said, the more I do these card readings, the more I think about I should get back into the content of a specific question. But in the same sense, for me, when I was in full seeking mode, to understand what the energies were doing and understand how, if we understand the energies that are affecting us and how the energies going around us in our fields, if we have a little bit of insight, then we can prepare for it. So that way when we see it, I hate to use expectations because expectations are bad, but it helps develop the intuition and the discernment, because you understand what is going to go on, right? But you don't know the exact outplay, right? And then when it outplays, you're like, yep, this is it. And then you get to digress and discern and really work through that however you see fit. So it's very powerful. And that's why we do this. So, shall we? Deceit. It's ugly. What do we got here? What's he holding? Just look at that. Probably half of you probably quit watching. But no, deceit. So, what's the deceit that's holding us back, right? Where is this deceit in this energy, right? Is the deceit energy influence you? Does it affect you, right? Because you need to walk away. See, we're walking away from deceit. We no longer need the deceit because we realize without it, we have the world, right? Check that out. The world is yours to take, right? So with that world energy, bottom of the deck is all tied up, right? So we're all tied up. Why are we all tied up? Collectively, we need to free ourselves. We get so bound by seeking. Our energies go so many different ways. And as they come back into the center, we realize how tied up we were, right? So we release. We come into the world, right? The world is ours to capture, right? As we come into the world, we are walking away from the deceit. So the deceit is what's holding us back right now. Some of us from moving forward, right? So we remove deceit. We walk away. We come into the understanding that the world is ours, right? The world is ours. The world is inside of us, right? So when we come into the world is ours, that's going to help you get untied, right? Don't get tangled up in the world's messes. Don't get tangled up in what's going on in the world. Remember this area, right? Energetically off-world with the world in your hand. Right? For some of us, multidimensionalities, some of those, we get it, right? But yeah, so the world has a lot of things going on right now, right? And if you get tied up in all these distractions, you're not gonna walk away from the deceit, right? The deception of the perception that keeps the persona going. You gotta walk away from it, right? Because it's got you all tied up. It's got you bind and confound, right? Expectations of what this is gonna be, what that's gonna be. Already perceived presumptions. If we come back in, we balance ourselves. We realize we're looking at the world. We are the world. We have everything. The world is us, right? And now we're going to bring that back to us. It's a beautiful thing, guys. So, as you understand your boundness and the things that you are tied up, walk away from things that no longer serve you, right? This is a big, big reflux of energy. It's always strong from about October until the end of November, but then you got the Christmas joy coming, right? So don't worry, things aren't going to slow down too much, but it's always a remembrance and a good time for clearing, because these things that bothered you back in February are now starting to come back, right? All summer long, they didn't really bother you because you were in this different transitioning, moving forward type phase, right? But now we're coming back into this darkness, this kind of recalibration center point within us, right? It's always a time that the unwanted things arise again. And we can, lose our minds, become a little manic, lose our way a little bit, finally pull out of it, but it'll be here next year. So if we understand these things that are bounding us up, if we understand these things that are influencing us, if we can step back and take a different angle, right? See how we can use that to humble and gratitude, right? Towards compassion. Right? It doesn't sound right, but if you could take those things that get on your nerves and then make them to where they don't get on your nerves, and then makes it electrifying because it doesn't get on your nerves, right? There's like 3 steps. It bothers me. I'm okay. I'm centered. Now it makes me even happier. Seeing the thing that always sets me off now brings me gratitude, compassion, love, and joy. That's kind of how it goes. Obviously, the love and the compassion and the joy, it's hard to even understand it unless you've felt it and witnessed it, right? Being positive is one thing, but altering your whole perception of reality is another thing. As we step into this multidimensionality, it becomes so complex we get tied up in it, right? We forget to balance ourselves. We forget to connect to Gaia, the plants, the wind, the rain, the fire, right? We forget the essence of the soul while we're here because we're so caught up in remembering our lineage of above. And as your DNA picks up, it's automatically going to come back. So if you can have compassion and joy and walk that beautiful life, all the multidimensionality will fill in. But if you're constantly not allowing time to rest and rejuvenate, and you just keep pushing for more and more and more, you almost start pushing against yourself, right? But when you come in the understanding and awareness, okay, this is what I like to achieve. I want to learn how the energy goes through me. I want to feel the energy go through my body. So you work on that. Then once you feel the energy go through your body, live with it for a little bit before you start seeking other things. See, we get so hyper-focused and wanting to know higher consciousness, and we forget to take a step back and realize how high of a consciousness we have achieved. the beautiful things that we can already do, right? As me for a healer, excuse me, there's been a lot of different, I guess you'd call them modalities, but a lot of different energy healing things and different spectrums that I've been accumulating over the years. And now it's like, I've got this pastel paint kit, right? And I can pretty much help paint your picture the way it's supposed to be. Beautify the soul and electrify yourself and get you back onto the path that you need to be on, which is the path of divinity, right? Not the path that you think you need to be on or the path you desire to be on, right? The path of divinity, the divine timeline. How do you get there? Well, you got to allow a lot of allowance, right? You got to allow things to untie, right? Things to let go of, right? It makes me mad. Acknowledge it. Maybe if it's a person, call that person, say, you know what? I forgive you. I'll be like, well, you forgiven me, boy, right? But energetically putting yourself out there like that allows that transformation of energy that's bound within you to now release, right? That's that quantum entanglement. So as you go through and pinpoint all these different things that agitate you, right? And if you can get rid of the agitation, then when these influences of the energy and the changing of the seasons happen, that influence is no longer there, right? So there has to be something that takes this place, right? A lot of people say energy cannot be destroyed or created. It can only be manipulated, right? So that energy is always working against you in a certain time fluctuation. How can you transverse it into a beneficial, if not just neutral energy, right? My whole thing was like this light behind me. Get your soul essence to a neutral. Neutral. Once you can neutral for 1 year, now you have a lot of power back because everything's been neutral. So when you come back into those situations and those scenarios, it's neutral. And then obviously we're in the yin and the yang. Personally, I like to do the weave between the two, right? Stay very balanced and humble. So when we're in that neutral standpoint, you know, we get to dip into that yin and that yang and take the advantages into the positive directions because of the manifestations that we have planted, right? We go around planting all these seeds, right? We got to water them. I love the seed analogy because your soul itself is the seed, right? And finding the root, the seed of your soul is so, the experience is so humble. Once you find it, you will know. Meditation, you're looking for your soul light. Maybe it's dark, you don't really see it, or you see a flash here and there. Eventually you'll see a glow in the distance, and you travel to the mountain, and then you climb the mountain and you see down in the valley. And this is how it was for me, right? You see down in the valley that light, that soul essence, and you come back to your seed of your soul, right? You've wandered away and journeyed off in so many different directions, you forgot the path back. So now the soul's calling you back. It's emitting light frequency codes. Now you're starting to see them, right? You're starting to feel them. But intuitively, with our third eye, let's go find the seed of the soul. Once we find the seed of the soul, it's such a humbling thing that takes place, because you learn so much about your soul lineage. But that seed of the soul, right? You got to find the seed. And then what happens to a seed? We got to germinate it, right? So we got to caress this, right? Everything's been trying to steal the seed. We found the seed. Now we need to almost hide it, if you will, right? And allow it to have that moisture of acceptance, right? I'm getting it back. I'm giving it a little moisture, but I'm conceiving it, or I'm consolidating it. I'm hiding it. I'm allowing it to germinate. No influences, right? And then it germinates. And then you start building the layers of the onion, right? That seed turns into a tiny sapling, which turns into a tree. However you want to acknowledge it, it happens in multiple different ways. So the tree in the essence is connected to the elements, right? But if it with that onion, you're growing layers of this ball, which is the aura. So your seed of your soul's coming out of your soul, filling your body, feeling your emotion, feeling your mental, feeling your astral body, your celestial body, right? It's filling that back up. Those containers that were empty and full of dead space, right? We only use 3% of our DNA. So as you activate all these spaces, your container becomes filled up with the light, the seed of the soul. But then the complexity and the identity of the soul, right, through the lineage, will make different layers combined. And I just went on a tangent. But that's something we've been talking about with the clients over the last couple weeks is, it's getting to the seed of the soul, understanding, acknowledging it, and allowing these layers to grow back. So now we're breaking out of the seed of the soul. We're in the second layer, which is the most influential so that's like your power of manifestation right there, right? I believe we're coming out of that after this full moon. Full moon's rocking, feels great. So when we come out, we're going in another layer. Now, instead of focusing so much on you, pull your surroundings into this layer. Because you've already got 2 layers now, right? Protecting the seed of the soul. So now put your environment in this. Anything empath, well, my environment, yeah. Okay, some of you, this might not be a good idea, but most of you, if you put your environment into that next, the environment will co-coalesce and co-create with the manifestations as the layers grow out. So the influence is greater coming in, right? If you keep focusing on me, and you're like, I got a good grip on me, now you're 10 layers out, and you want to throw in the atmosphere and the molecules and the ions and everything, the surroundings of the atmospheres, right? The influences of your day-to-day. Well, the seed of the soul is so far connected, and there's so much density between that this doesn't work out. So then it's like, it's a little shaky, and then the layers start falling, right? Coming into spring, we're going to blossom, and we just keep going through this pattern. So from being on this journey for a while, I really want to put that pattern and that idea and that concept inside your head, because this is how your consciousness is evolving. And if we pay attention to these certain opportunities to become untied up, right, we receive the endless possibilities of abundance. But we have to be willing and accepting, right? So that's where that surrender comes in, right? If you can surrender into something you hate, it becomes joy. Well, that doesn't make sense. It just means I'm like giving up on the thing that I don't like. Yes and no. So you don't like it, you don't need to have it in your reality, right? But it will continue to persist, right? There's those words. What you resist, persist. Yes? See a correlation happening here, do we? So that synchronicity and that type of understanding will literally elevate you to a higher consciousness. Can you feel your brain tingling now? Can I get an amen? Woo! Yeah! Like I said, guys, I've just been staying blissed out as possible. We put in a new computer system at work, and it's been hectic, right? So I brought in a little bit of that yang energy home, and I've acknowledged it, right? And I'm like, okay, more balance, right? Because there's no such thing as work-life balance. Perception. Always, guys, you want to have a humble space to come home to. You want to have a sacred area. So when you get out of the rat race and you come back into your sacred temple, you can be the inner child. You can be the full expression of what you want to be with no guards, no blocks, no shields, right? That's what we want to get to. When you can be purified as one, wherever you walk, you purify. It's so powerful knowing I don't have to shake anybody. I don't have to convince anybody. I don't even have to change anybody's mind. All I have to do is just be me, stay vibing, smile, stay bright, and everything around me just picks up, right? The transfers of a smile, right? I smile at them, they smile back, it makes them feel good, right? And then sometimes I smile at them, they smile back, and I get a telekinesis of, maybe wanting to be my boyfriend. I'm like, nope. So energetically, we can send and bounce back signals that other people put off on us that we don't even know. But if we just stiff arm everything, sometimes something needs to take the hand and do a little woo action, right? A little spin around, a little do-si-do, and then gone. Right? Just a millisecond of quantum entanglement to charge, and then back to the divine path. Back to the path that's going to get you to the divine path, right? Life can be a struggle. Believe me, I struggled a lot myself. But when you get out of your own way, real talk, and you let God influence your life, and you put the power of the Lord in you, the guidance, the understanding, the acknowledgement, now's the test. Right? Because the Lord's always going to accept you. The Lord's always there for you, right? But now you're pulling away from deceit. Right? So the more you pull away from deceit, the more it keeps grabbing back. Ooh, did you see that? But yeah, so the deceit wants to keep coming back. Keeps pulling you down, right? The more you find yourself and the more you elevate your consciousness, the frequencies grow, you're going to come to that seat of the soul. And when you come to that seat of the soul, that power, that energy, now you're like the bug zapper, right? And then you can build complexities around it, right? Some protections, clear glass balls around it. Now they can't touch you, right? Now you go back and you acknowledge them. Thank you for showing me your full hand, right? So once you've seen somebody do all the tricks, right? You kind of want to trickster them back, right? But that's the fool, right? We want to be the wizard and the witch combined. Maybe a little bit of fool in there, but my personal favorite, if you guys have been following me, witch on the right, wizard on the left. Okay. With that being said, just please, guys, keep in mind the pull of getting away from that devil. Getting away from that lower frequency that wants to keep you confined and not let you be a creator and freely express yourself. That doesn't want you to freely understand the abundance of energy around you, right? So just fill yourselves up, humble yourselves, allow those heart chakras to just sing outward, right? And notice the changes in your environment that happen. Program them into close to the seat of the soul. So you allow a greater effect within the animal kingdom, the elemental kingdom, and this crazy, crazy astro 4D psychopathical mind game. There we go. I said it. It's just a mind game. So escape the mind. Or we should say escape the brain. Find the sacred mind. And don't mind the brain no more. If I lost you on that one, I can explain it later. But hey, as always, you guys stay awesome. If you guys are needing sessions, hit me up. I got a couple extra spots open for the rest of the month. Really, there's not much repeating happening right now. Everybody understands we got to stick in our own groove for the rest of this month. Keep finding things that are going to humble us. Keep building atmospherical awareness and watch the magic and the magnificence play out as we truck down the road and enjoy our journey on the Heaven Express. You guys, as always, been a pleasure. You be you. You stay true. Till next time, guys. Peace!